Today, I bring you a very tense and dramatic development in our National Assembly, a story that looks like more than just politics. It's about power, health, rights, and possibly conspiracy. The headline is, Conspiracy against Nnamdi Kanu thickens as Rep Speaker steps down motion to assist Kanu. Let me lay out the gist, the drama, and what might lie beyond the headlines, but in simple, clear terms. Here's what's happening right now. A member of the House of Representatives, Honorable Obi Aguocha from Abia State, raised a motion, more precisely, a point of order under Order 6, Rule 2, demanding urgent medical intervention for Nnamdi Kanu, the detained leader of IPOB, indigenous people of Biafra. Aguocha says that Kanu's health is deteriorating badly and that he had already sent letters on 26 August 2025 to the Speaker, the Attorney General, and the President, attaching medical reports from Kanu's own doctors and from the Nigerian Medical Association. These reports, Aguocha says, confirm organ deficiencies, low potassium, and that Kanu is on the verge of death. But when Aguocha tried to present this issue publicly in plenary, Speaker Tajudeen Abbas told him to step down the motion, meaning don't present it in that way or at that time. Abbas claimed that Aguocha came under the wrong House rules and that the procedure was not correct. As things heated up, Aguocha refused to back down. He insisted the matter is proper and urgent. When Abbas again tried to quiet him, Aguocha reportedly said, "You cannot tell me to shut up, you don't have the right." Eventually, the Speaker instructed that the motion should be taken privately, see me privately, so it could be resolved behind closed doors instead of on the floor. That's what people are calling stepping down the motion. Then, the Deputy Speaker, Benjamin Kalu, intervened. He assured that the matter is important and promised that the motion would be brought properly before the House later in the week in a way that respects the House procedures. So, effectively, what was once blocked is now being revived, but with due process. So, that's the formal version. But now, let's talk about some deeper angles, what this means, and why many Nigerians are watching this closely. Why this matters more than the drama. Health versus rights. Aguocha's claim is that Kanu is seriously ill. If true, this becomes not just a political matter, but a human rights and constitutional issue. Every person, even if detained, has a right to life, fair medical treatment, and dignity. Aguocha even quoted a judge. Only a man who is alive and living can stand trial. That underscores the argument. You can't carry out justice when the person is dead or too frail to defend themselves. Secrecy, procedure, and power play. The attempt by the Speaker to step down, the motion pushing it off the public floor into private negotiation, raises red flags. Some see it as a maneuver to suppress exposure or prevent congressional pressure. That's where talk of conspiracy comes in. When a motion is that sensitive about life, health, possible neglect, you expect full openness, scrutiny, and urgency. That it was delayed, challenged, or sidelined raises suspicion. What do they want hidden? Who's pulling strings? Political optics and public pressure. Kanu has many supporters and critics. How the House handles this will be judged heavily. If the leadership appears to be blocking medical help, people will see it as callous or politically motivated. If they act, it might cool tensions. But any misstep will be amplified. Precedent for legislative independence. This can be a moment that tests how independent our legislature is, whether it can act in the public interest, even when it involves a highly polarizing figure. If lawmakers cave to pressure, it sets a weak example. If they stand firm on procedure plus justice, it shows maturity. What to watch next? Things to look out for. When the proper motion is brought again, how fully will it be debated? Will dissenters be allowed? Will more medical evidence or expert testimonies be submitted? Are there independent reports? What will the federal government, divided by AGF, divided by presidency, say or do in response? Will the media and public be allowed into the proceedings? or will it be backroom deals? If Kanu's condition worsens, the stakes become higher. Any death or catastrophic event would force accountability. So that is the current situation. A bold motion by a lawmaker, a pushback by the speaker, a procedural dance, now a resumption via the deputy speaker's intervention. A lot is at stake, not just for Kanu, but for our democracy, our institutions, and how we treat human rights in difficult cases. Now, folks, if you like this breakdown and you want more live updates on this story and others, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll be among the first to know when the motion is finally debated or when something new breaks. If you're curious, I want to ask you, do you think the House leadership is deliberately blocking this motion? Or is this just messy politics and procedure abuse? Write your thoughts in the comments, let's discuss. Now, since this whole clash happened in the House of Reps, it has sparked reactions across Nigeria, both online and offline. Some Nigerians are saying, if the speaker can't even allow a motion about someone's health to be discussed openly, then what is the House hiding? Others are arguing that the speaker is only following due process, that proper procedure must be respected no matter who is involved. But let's be honest, politics in Nigeria is never that simple. Sometimes procedure is used as a way to slow down sensitive issues. Other times, it's used to protect the government from embarrassment or criticism. And this looks like one of those moments. Remember, Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention since 2021 after being brought back from Kenya. He has been facing charges of treasonable felony, incitement, and other offenses related to IPOB's push for Biafra's independence. Since then, his case has moved slowly, and many of his supporters believe he's being punished for speaking up for the Igbo people. Others, especially those in government circles, believe he went too far by allegedly encouraging division and violence. Now, this new drama about his health gives the story a human side. Because whether you agree with his politics or not, everyone can relate to sickness, to needing proper care. That's why this motion from Honorable Obi Aguocha hit Nigerians emotionally. He's basically saying, look, let's put politics aside. The man is sick. Let him get medical help. Let him live to face justice. And that's a fair point. Because justice delayed is one thing, but justice denied through neglect, that's another story entirely. Now, let's talk about Speaker Tajudeen Abbas and why some people are calling his actions suspicious. From what we've seen, when Aguocha stood up to speak, the speaker tried to stop him almost immediately, saying he came under the wrong rule. But Aguocha fought back, insisting that the motion was urgent and that he followed the right order. The argument became tense, and according to reports, Aguocha told the speaker directly, "You cannot tell me to shut up." That's a strong statement, especially on the floor of the House. It shows that emotions are high. It also shows how deeply some lawmakers feel about Kanu's condition. Later, the deputy speaker, Benjamin Kalu, stepped in and tried to calm things down, promising that the motion would still be discussed later, but under the right format. Now, this may sound diplomatic, but the public is reading between the lines. People are asking, why postpone a matter about a man's failing health? Because if truly Kanu's organs are failing, as Aguocha claims from the doctor's reports, time might be running out. So waiting for proper procedure could mean more risk. Now, another layer to this gist, and you know I like to give you the layers, is that this situation is exposing something deeper in Nigerian politics. The tension between Igbo representation and the national leadership. Let's be real. Every time Kanu's issue comes up, it sparks ethnic and regional debates. Some Igbos see the government's handling of him as unfair and vindictive. Others across the country see him as a troublemaker who needs to face the law. So now, when an Igbo lawmaker like Aguocha fights for Kanu's medical rights, people see it as standing up for the Southeast. But the moment he's stopped by the speaker, it looks to some like the national leadership is trying to silence that voice. That's why social media went wild after this clash. Hashtags like #Free Nnamdi Kanu, #Justice for Kanu, and #Aguocha Speaks Truth started trending. Many Nigerians praised Aguocha for his courage, saying he stood his ground even when it could have cost him politically. Others said the speaker's action reflects a pattern that any time the issue of Kanu comes up, it's either delayed, muted, or brushed aside. Now let's connect this to something wider: the rule of law and how Nigeria treats its citizens. You see, one thing that keeps coming up is how selective justice seems to be. Many Nigerians are asking, why is Kanu still in detention despite several court rulings that ordered his release? Why is his trial dragging endlessly? Why is it that people who have looted billions get bail, travel abroad, and even contest elections, but one man's health issue becomes a national argument? These are tough questions, and they show how much distrust exists between the people and the government. Whether you support Kanu or not, you can't deny that this situation reflects a system where power often outweighs compassion. Aguocha's motion was simple: get the man medical care. Yet, even that turned into a shouting match. That says a lot about how political and emotional the issue has become. Now, let's also be fair, there's the government side of the story too. Security officials argue that Kanu's case is not just about one man. It's about peace and national unity. They believe he played a role in encouraging violence in the southeast and that his words led to unrest and deaths. So for them, this is not just a political prisoner story, it's about maintaining order. But even if that's the case, medical treatment doesn't stop justice. Providing care doesn't mean freeing him. It just shows that the government values human life, even of those it disagrees with. And, in a democratic system, that's how it should be. So, what next? Nigerians are now waiting to see if the Deputy Speaker keeps his word that the motion will return properly to the floor. If it does, we'll see where the House truly stands. Will they approve urgent medical help, or will they dance around the issue again? One thing is clear though, this clash has put new light on Kanu's health, and the government will be under serious public pressure now. If anything happens to him in custody, there will be questions no one can dodge. And before we wrap this part up, let me just remind you again, if you're following this gist and you like how we break it down simply for everyone to understand, please hit that like button right now, subscribe to the channel, and share this video so more Nigerians can join this conversation.